Lets it fly. Oh my goodness! Touchdown LSU! They win the game! They win the football game!
An explanation is demanded.
Oh man, here we go! Wide open. Nobody ran.
Swing. He's got a blocker in front. Brady is back. No good. Touchdown LSU.
With 2 seconds remaining. Tigers trailing Auburn 21-19. Here's the snap. Placement is down. Kick is up. Line drive kick, and it's good! Tigers win! Tigers win! 22-21 on the road at Jordan-Hare.
This guy hasn't missed yet. This will be a 33-yard attempt for Domingue. And it's a fake. The throw to Domingue. He bobbles it, and now he hits to the end zone. Touchdown!
3rd and 7. And Flynn is back to throw for the end zone. Oh! Touchdown! What a call!
Welcome into the Bayou Bengal Backers podcast. I'm your host, Cody Slavinsky, joined as always by Brandon. And tonight we are thrilled. Let's be honest. We're thrilled, okay? It sucks that we lost to Texas A&M. It absolutely does. But I'm happy. I'm not happy that we lost, but I'm happy with where we are as a program. The frustrations from Saturday it hurt. It really did. I mean, the first half, it was not pretty. I mean, yes, LSU had the lead at the half. And let's be real, though. They were pretty outplayed in that first half. A couple breaks went our way. Got us some points. No complaints. But that being said, after that game, message boards lit up, X lit up, Facebook lit up. Everybody was letting them have it. And it got to the point where media started leaking some things. And then next thing you know, Brian Kelly out, Joe Sloan out, a whole mountain of mess. Scott Woodward's probably out. And now here we are today. LSU is officially on the hunt for their next head coach.
Let's thank Texas A&M. Thank you so much for getting us an early Christmas gift.
Shout out to the Goons.
I think what frustrated me the most was just seeing everything get deflated in the second half of that game. It was just ugly. But it was like the culmination of everything that everybody had been feeling just happened. The offense was stagnant. The defense couldn't stop anybody, and A&M was just imposing their will on them. And you could visibly see the frustration on Kelly's face, on the coaching staff, and the players. When you have the alma mater and you have 20 players out there and everybody else is in the locker room, you kind of can tell where you stand with your players. You lost your players. They bought into an idea and they bought into what you were saying, and you didn't follow through. And in the almost 4 years he's been there, that's the only press conference I've seen him actually take some form of accountability. It's always somebody else. It's always this. It's always that. And then fast forward to Sunday, you start, like you said, you're starting to see things come through. Apparently clear all the coaches out of the facilities. They're going to have a private meeting with Brian Kelly. And that conversation, like, I mean, what do you think about that? Because honestly, he wouldn't have gotten fired. All he had to do was agree with letting go of Sloan. And he was hell-bent on not doing that. And then the conversation escalated. And voices were getting raised and things weren't going the way. And Woodward said, yeah, you can go. You can get your papers and we'll figure the rest out later.
See,
So, I
I'm
mean,
wondering, though, there is a part of that I'm wondering about. It's like, why was he fighting to keep Sloan?
because that was his guy he picked. That was his hand-picked guy. And I don't know why you would have been so hell-bent to keep someone who was putting your job on the, like, it's
Yeah,
been
it
bad
was that's what really threw me off the most.
Mhm.
And which, I mean, I get it. You're gonna fight for your guys. I get
Yeah,
it.
but it just
I
seems
do.
like a stretch.
But there was one thing in the game the other day that I noticed, and I've kind of seen it over the weeks and just never thought much of it. But I don't know if maybe you saw this too, but when Nussmeier and Kelly were interacting on the
Oh,
sideline,
dude.
it looked like Nussmeier was just over it.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, Cody, but like every time like there's a mistake, or like he makes a mistake or something doesn't. What's up,
Tony.
Tony? Whether he makes a mistake, like turns the ball over, or something doesn't go the way, like they always have a little banter, and I feel like you always can kind of see tension. But man, Saturday, like when they pulled him one, I probably wouldn't have done that because like why? But they pull him, and dude, you see like that chatter, but you see Nussmeier just like, nah, I'm done. Like, nah, he didn't even acknowledge. He's like, nah, I'm done, dude. Like, I'm not dealing with this.
Nope.
Which, I mean, I don't blame him, but I think there's
I
been a
mean,
lot of frustration.
yeah, I mean, let's be
Mhm.
real. He had no protection, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to first of all, let me just say, and a lot of people will probably disagree with me on this, but I am not blaming Brad Davis for what we're seeing on the offensive line.
no,
The biggest problem with the offensive line is the fact that it's a very young and inexperienced group. Look, we
hmm
have two guys with a lot of experience on the line. We have injuries right now. You're going to have to go through these growing pains with these freshmen to get to where you want to be, whether we like it or not.
it was bad,
Ern
Cody. It was
has tons of potential, and he will get there. When he finally settles into where he is going to play in the future,
that's him
he
at
will
left
be
tackle, correct?
yeah, he's not a left
Oh,
tackle, he's a guard. But let's
that was
be real,
bad.
I mean, he couldn't make a stop. I get it. And like right here, Tony says it the right way. Brian
It's
Kelly's
over
already
for
forgotten
him.
after Frank Wilson's first press conference. Yes. I'll be honest with you, like this is not a name that a lot of people have on their list as the next head coach, but essentially Frank Wilson is interviewing for this job in real time. Do I think he's going to get the job? No, I don't.
I love Frank. I think
I
he's a
want him
hell of a
involved with
recruiter.
LSU forever.
I think he's
By
a
the way.
hell of a recruiter. I think he's a
Mhm.
great ambassador for the brand, but I can't get behind him in that position just because and obviously different levels and things like that. But we've seen what he's capable of at like the FCS level, and there's no
Mhm.
disrespect to him. I just think he's really good at what he does, and what he does is all
Mhm.
kinds of things. I think he's the perfect
Yeah.
spot to succeed.
Yeah, and I will say this too. I really think that the team is going to come back. They're going to play hard for him. There's going to be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The fact that today he's welcoming former players into practice, getting them back affiliated heavy with the program, I love that. He knows the culture that is LSU. Unfortunately, he's stuck behind Brian Kelly because he couldn't bring that in, and he knew that was
Because Brian
key.
Kelly, like we were saying before, he just was never going to embrace the culture. He never was interested in embracing the culture. It wasn't a culture fit from day one. And I feel like if you're not going to embrace what this is to offer, like I just feel like you can't succeed here. Like you can
Yeah.
go pretty far back, and I mean it stood the test of time.
Absolutely. And and a lot of people instantly, the first name said off everybody's tongue was Lane Kiffin. And obviously, Lane Kiffin's going to be the first name mentioned for every job. For Florida, they said the same thing. And I get it. I do. I understand the appeal behind Lane Kiffin. He's a good coach. My only knock on Lane Kiffin, and again, this isn't a me talking down on him or anything, because I do like Lane Kiffin. I think he's a cool dude. But let's be real. Tennessee flopped. USC flopped. He had his resurgence with Alabama to really get his head straight. I don't count his NFL run because NFL and college are two different. I don't count that. Goes to Bama, then he goes to FAU. He's like he's reborn, okay? Gets the Ole Miss job. He does fine at Ole Miss. He's still doing fine. Great recruiting, put together good teams, but he can't win when it matters the most. And I'm sorry, but he plays the same schedule essentially that LSU is going to play. Same level of competition, same conference. So my thing is this. We see what he's doing at Ole Miss. Why would we want that at LSU right now? I'm sorry, but 10 wins is not enough for me. I want a guy that's going to get something done. I want someone that's young and hungry. And I think that Lane Kiffin, would he do a good job at LSU? Absolutely. He would be loved. I don't think he would be able to get a championship, though. I just don't think he's that. I don't think he's the fit. He's a cool dude, but I don't think he fits what LSU is.
I don't know, man. I think he could. I think he would embrace the culture a lot better than what Kelly did. He can relate to the players. He's young, and I feel like there's like this invisible glass ceiling over Ole Miss. Like you're gonna only take them so far. And that's no disrespect to Ole Miss. They have had a lot of success through the years. You've had Archie Manning. You've had plenty of like Hall of Fame legendary players. But I feel like you're only going to be able to take that program so far. And I feel like with what he's been given, and I do get the schedule argument. That makes a lot of sense as well. I just feel like with how he can relate to players, by how he can recruit players, then you get all of the assets and all the talent in Louisiana already. I think Lane could do better in Kelly for sure.
Just remember, this is the same guy, though, that thought that Sage Ryan would be an upgrade on his defense. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get them all right.
I mean,
can't get them all right. But
that one should have been a common sense one right there.
I think Lane – I don't think Lane's a terrible fit. I think if you swing and go for Lane, I don't think you're losing. I still think you come out better than where you were over the last 3 or so years.
For sure. And no decommitments as of yet.
No,
we've actually had commitments.
We flipped the guy from Louisiana Tech to LSU.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that I don't know if you've seen this guy's tape. Dude, he's your typical New Orleans 3-star, if that makes sense.
But the thing I like about what you're saying and what this is that I shared a thing about it yesterday. It's like they're not committing to him. People who want to be here want to be here. Like they want to be a part of the culture. They want to be a part of the brand, regardless of not gonna say regardless of who the coach is, but in this situation, people are holding on because like, man, this could be something really good. Like LSU could really find themselves in a really good spot depending on who they get to run this thing. And I think being the fact that Kelly's buyout was originally $53 million, and then you got a donor who donated over like $30 million of that. So LSU's only coming out of pocket $20 million. So you can use that money, that extra money that you would have bought him out with, put towards getting the guy you want. LSU doesn't have any shortage of funds.
I do have a question though about the buyout because I've seen mixed reports. I've seen some people about the morality clause and said that he settled for under $30 million. I've seen people saying it's still $53 million. Like I don't know where it actually stands.
I know for sure it's not the full 53. Like just per sources. Like I know it's not that. I've seen the point that I've just made, and then I don't know if it's a mixture of both, but there's like a moral I forget, it's like a moral clause or something like that based on like what happened. They were able to negotiate it down.
Yeah. Let's break this one down real quick from Brian. Let's see. Here are 5 among about 15 issues: strength and conditioning and way too many injuries.
Should have never let go of Moffitt. That was dumb.
We need Moffitt so bad. That I will be honest with you, whoever comes in, that's the guy. Yeah, and I think he would come back.
I think so.
Not enough Tiger grit determination. Fully agreed. Yeah. And I think that ties to number 1 as well, by the way.
Offensive line development is weak.
I'm gonna agree and disagree on this one because
they lost 3 or 4 guys. Like you're gonna see regression.
I mean, when you lose, an Emory Jones, that he was one that I wanted to come back. I was hoping he would.
You lost Campbell, you lost Jones, you lost Bellinger. Yep. Like you got to think, you lost like guys who were 2, 3 or more year starters. You bring in a couple guys in the portal, you have injuries, and guess what? You have a bunch of young guys, and they're getting thrusted in to these high-pressure situations. Not all guys respond the best to that right away. They need time to develop and learn and work their craft. So I can somewhat agree with that, but at the same time, it's really hard to maintain an offensive line like that when you lose guys who have been there for so long, and now you have new people and then young guys, and they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and don't get me wrong though. I mean, we have some positive spots on that offensive line. For sure.
It's not all negative.
And I think, but I do understand the development aspect because I mean, some of these freshmen that are playing right now, there should have been a little bit of growth from when they stepped on the campus to now. And they're just straight getting beat right now. And that's got to change. So I do agree with that. OC is way insufficient. I agree on that. Look, Joe Sloan. All right, so the thing about Joe Sloan, though, he's a fantastic quarterback coach. Yeah. That will not question it. When it comes to calling plays, there was a reason that he was named co-OC because he was like, it's like they believe in him, but he's not quite there yet. And, last year kind of gave you some glimmer of hope. Like, it's like, all right, this guy's not bad. He was a big reason why we thought that we were 100% a playoff team, if not further, this year.
Yeah, because you had so much talent coming back.
I'm wondering if he tried to reinvent the wheel.
I think I don't think he's a good play caller by any means of the imagination, but I think I don't know what happened because it was just ugly. It was so predictable. Like, it's like this. If you're playing on like the easiest difficulty on Madden and you pick Ask Madden, it's like the most manila play call and there's no creativity. You're not utilizing the talent you have up and down the field. Mm-hmm. They were able to pick apart the offense because they just knew it was coming. It was easy. That's why we struggled so much.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's weird that things change, but also one thing too to think about is you have to adjust your play calling based on the talent you have. And I think a lot of that adjustments on the play calling had to do with offensive line lacking experience, Nussmeier having an injury, because let's be real, we know that injury was legit. Yeah. Will we ever know what it fully really was?
No. Maybe not for a while.
And then you have to deal with Caden Durham being injured, and then Harlem Berry growing into his role. Then you have to also accept the fact that, Caleb Jackson's not going to be in the mix anymore. Then you have Juwan Johnson, who's emerging on the scene. So there's a lot of different pieces that you're having to figure out, hey, how do I plug you in? And then when you had Nussmeier at the point where he really couldn't throw a 10-yard pass, you were limited.
But I feel like he overcomplicated. Like, I feel you could have still kept the offense simplistic, but not manila. Like, I just feel like it was just too predictable. Like, I go back to that play. It was either the last game or the game before. We were in the red zone, inside the 20. We had just ran it. We threw an incomplete pass, and they put Johnson in motion. They put him right next to Nussmeier. No, it was like a 2-point conversion. Yeah,
it was a 2-point conversion. Yep, and he just got stuffed.
Puts him in motion, sits next to Nussmeier, and just hand it to him. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you got big targets. Just throw it in the corner of the end zone. Like, what are we doing?
Trades is ready at all times. He ain't gonna miss, and if he does, it's very rare. Mm-hmm. But I get that, and honestly, I'm wondering if he did have something over Kelly to make him keep him at the role, because that's just weird.
That is odd, very odd situation.
So hard-headed on the player selection and substitutions. I will agree with that. I think there are some guys on the bench that were hungry and are ready to go. Some that needed to be in. I think that Van Buren should have gotten more looks when it was clear.
When Nussmeier was clear they was hurt. He should have been getting more reps.
Agreed. And, maybe they really were trying to preserve his red shirt, but let's be real. I'm pretty sure Michael Van Buren is not going to be in college for 5 years.
No. Because he's going to be a junior, I think, next year.
Yeah. I mean, if he chooses to not transfer, he's good. And also another thing, too, depending on who the coach is for next year, does Nussmeier go to the NFL?
He has to. No more eligibility. He's a fifth-year senior.
No.
Yes, I'm telling you, he's a fifth-year senior.
Hold on. I don't think he's a fifth-year senior.
He is.
I thought he was.
He's a fifth-year senior. He has no more eligibility left. He's pro.
Is this really the case?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because think about it. This is his second year as
man.
a start. He sat behind Jaden Daniels for 2 years.
Yep.
He was 2
my
years
god!
a starter. Yep, and remember, because he was there the last year O was there, and he played very limited time. That's why he kept his red shirt.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, time flies by.
Why did I think that he had one more year left? That sucks.
Then there wouldn't have been so much pressure on his. That's why I was pissed off because Kelly killed his freaking draft stock.
Huh. That's a shame. That
It is.
really is. So then it's the Michael Van Buren show next year if whoever they hire runs the style of offense that fits him.
Well, I think.
But then again, Colin Hurley.
Well, see, that's what I was getting ready to get to. This could go one of a few ways. I mean, Van Buren could get the nod. I think Hurley's got potential to be way better than him. And then you got to understand, you get a new head coach and coaching staff in here. He might want to bring his guy in. You know, I mean, it happens.
Yeah. Now, here's another thing to consider too, though. If Brian Kelly lands another job, which let's be real, he might.
If he wants to coach, he'll get a job. If he doesn't want to anymore, then.
But my thing is, though, okay, let's say that he goes to Wisconsin, because I have a feeling Luke Fickell was done with Wisconsin after this year. Let's say he were to go to a school like that. Who's to say Colin Hurley wouldn't follow him?
Yeah, because Hurley's one of the only guys I've seen that had positive feedback about BK.
And to be fair, that is one thing that I'd heard reports about, is that was a situation that BK handled correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And it meant a lot to him, and he's loyal to Brian Kelly.
I hate to see him go because, man, wherever he plays, he's a baller. Like, if y'all don't know who Colin Hurley is, go watch his high school tape. This guy is a baller. Like, he is,
and he's still a kid. He's only
like 19. I mean, the guy's got potential to be one of the best LSU quarterbacks ever.
Buddy, I don't even. Is he even 18 yet? I think that's my question.
I think he's 19.
Let me see. Let's see where he is.
Might be 18.
He is. Come on, Wi-Fi.
Let's see.
Because I know he was 16 last year.
Let's see. Does it say?
Why ain't it saying his age?
That's weird.
It usually always says. Oh, here it is. Colin Hurley age.
18.
18, yeah. So, I mean, the kid, he's young. So.
He's good, bro. And realistically, he didn't play last year. So did he redshirt?
He did redshirt last year.
Okay, so he's a redshirt freshman. So realistically, if they
wanted to redshirt Van Buren, why didn't they just use Hurley this year?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they knew how good he was to go. I mean, after maybe he played. I mean, he suited up and all that. But I don't know why you're worried about burning his red shirt. I mean, Van Buren's got to be. I think he's a sophomore, yeah. So next year he'd be
yeah.
So if Van Buren comes out next year as a junior and has a really good year, he'll probably go in the draft anyway. So depending on who the coach and all that is. So
absolutely. And I mean,
I don't know, man. I really like him. Like, if we'd lose him, that would hurt. Like, that would hurt me worse than Underwood decommitting, in my opinion.
So there's another name though that I think might hit the portal. Caden Durham.
I don't think Durham's leaving, dude. I think he's loyal.
I feel like he is, but at the end of the day, though, if Harlan Berry is really starting to take the job.
But I feel like Durham kind of solidified. Like, it's not like LSU's never had a two-back system before.
True. But the thing is, does Durham want to share carries?
I don't see. I mean, Fournette shared carries with Geis, and it worked.
Yeah.
And Fournette was still clearly the guy, and Geis still.
But there's a huge difference in that comparison, though.
Yeah.
One team was a run heavy. This team is not. And I will say this, though. If Durham hits the portal, you know where he's going if he hits the portal, right? Oklahoma, 100%. That's where everybody thought he was going to go originally. He's a legacy there. He should have pretty much. That's where he should have ended up.
I don't know if he leaves though.
That's one that I'm kind of concerned he is.
Because it all depends on the coach. It all depends on the coach.
Yeah.
But if a coach comes in that he feels comfortable, I think he'll ride out his junior year. And if he has a good year, he'll go in the draft anyway.
Now, another player that I think is coming back next year. I think Whit Weeks is back next year.
He has to, because that injury kind of derailed like his draft. And I think it works for him to come back. You need that veteran presence.
Whit Weeks is a first-round linebacker, 100%. Honestly, Whit Weeks has the potential to be the best linebacker we've had since Devin White.
I think that's better than Devin White.
He can be. And Devin White was a stud. So, I mean,
I think that would really help, especially next year when you're coming in with a new coach.
Yep.
Like, you need that guy who was there because he was able to experience everything. And now it's like he comes in with a new regime and he can help set the tone for the younger guys.
Yeah. So that being said, though, there has been some drama behind this announcement of Brian Kelly leaving. And I'm going to play us a 2-minute video. Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana, sharing his thoughts on it, which before I do that, I just want to say I find it so strange that he is involved. I understand why he has to be at this point because we don't have a president technically right now. So, and it is a state school, so I get it. But listen to this, what he said, and we'll discuss it after we watch this.
The first question is absolutely correct. We are not going down a failed path. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. I mean, maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. You know, I'm not going to be picking the next coach. But I can promise you, we're going to pick a coach, and we're going to make sure that that coach is successful. And we're going to make sure that he's compensated properly. And we're going to put metrics on it. Because I'm tired of rewarding failure in this country. And then leaving the taxpayers on the foot, to foot the bill. So, yeah, I absolutely. Who's that? No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach. Because, wait. I want to hold on. One real quick thing on that. Because here's what y'all reporters need to do. Y'all need to start looking at who represents all these people. Like these agents. You know what's interesting? If I'm not mistaken, Woodward's agent, Kelly's agent, the Texas A&M, they're all the same agent. Like, you realize if I would be, I don't know how many sports writers we got here today? Just you. We should have a bunch. Okay? Like, this is ridiculous. Lawyers would be disbarred for the way these agents act and the way they're able to represent. In fact, there's no doubt, they may even represent some of the players now. Like, it's really time for the NCAA to put on some guardrails in college sports. Because, and it's fine. We don't need the guardrails. If big billionaires want to spend all that kind of money, no problem. But if I got to go find $53 million from Kemp, it's not going to be a pleasant conversation. I'm just telling you. I know. And I think that that's important as well. Y'all should start looking into that. Okay.
Sound like a genuine couillon.
He does. He really does. And it's funny, too, is like if you hear his accent, like it almost sounds like it's fake. I know it's not. And obviously that's kind of a joke towards Brian Kelly. But his voice doesn't match his look.
That made me think of that freaking picture I sent you with Brian Kelly. I'm a couillon.
All right. So the biggest name that LSU fans need to know heading into this coaching search is Scott Ballard, the chair of the Board of Supervisors. Mm-hmm. He got briefly interviewed today asking about Jeff Landry's comments, and he had not even heard those. His statement was, "We're going to go find the best coach for Louisiana State University." That's what he says, and you know what? I believe him.
Go right for it, brother.
He's highly respected at LSU. Everybody likes the man. And if you saw the pictures from the baseball team at the White House, he was in every one of them. He was right there front and center at that. So he's a guy you probably have never heard of, but let me tell you, that man is going to find the next good one. But
question.
I don't know. What's up?
What high school you went to?
I went to Clay Chalful.
Okay, because I seen a meme. They said Brian Kelly's gonna be the new head coach at Sulphur. I'd forgot what school you went to.
I mean, honestly, the way it smells in that city, that's where my grandparents used to live.
It's
Dude, it smells horrible.
because they got all the plants out there.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
mean to piss
remember
you off, I just thought that was funny.
we went and it was like probably Christmas of like 2001. We went out there. It was my first time heading to Sulphur because my grandparents had just moved out there. And I remember right when we hit the city, I was asleep and I wake up to that stench and I was like, "What in the hell is this?" That was the worst smell. It's like worse than a paper mill. I mean, it's just nasty.
I didn't mean to change the subject on it. I just thought you would get a kick out of it.
No, I definitely do. I have ties to sulfur, so I'm happy for that one. But yeah, I don't know. It's very weird to see politics get thrown into this.
Yeah,
And
not common.
but then again, I mean, hey, Donald Trump's ready. I mean, here's his tweet today. We're conducting the most incredible coaching search you've ever seen. People are calling from everywhere, NFL, college, even Canada. Terrible football up there, by the way. Only the best will make it. Tremendous names. LSU will win again.
That's got to be fake.
It's 100% fake. But my God, is it funny?
If that was legit, that'd be so funny. I wouldn't even be surprised.
So, I mean, but, so we're at the point now. I mean, Frank Wilson is your interim head coach. Alex Atkins is going to be doing the play calling, which, hey, by the way,
I don't know how to feel about that. I'm kind of indifferent on that.
You got to look at it like this. He was calling the plays when Florida State was good. I'm just throwing that out there.
They said he was calling the plays when it was bad, too.
That's true. That's true. That is true. But to be fair, they just didn't have a quarterback at that point. It was bad. But no, I think that the one good thing about this is the fact that you're going to see an LSU team that just has the weights lifted off their shoulders.
Dude, they had open scrimmage. They had an open scrimmage yesterday. Like they were trying to let guys compete to play. He's letting guys who weren't playing get a chance.
About to say, earn your spot right now. Now is the time to do it.
Too bad Ashton Stamps ain't got them all.
Yeah, right. And the crazy thing is too is the fact that right now, and I saw T-Bob say this. This was said on his show when he had who all did he have on there? Is Braden Fiocco, Michael Brockers, and Brandon Taylor. That was who he had on there with him. And the saying was, I think it was Brandon Taylor that said it, and I loved it. Basically, it's like, if we can't make the playoff, neither can you. And I'm going to tell you something, that is one fantastic mindset to have to close out the season.
Yeah, because they're like, okay, well, we're out, then guess what? We about to spoil some days. And I don't know about you, like a thorn in the side team, bro. Like a team that has nothing to lose is the scariest team you can face. And this doesn't matter what level you're on. It doesn't matter if you're in high school. It doesn't matter if you're in college or the pros. Like when you're facing a team that has nothing to prove, but everything to prove. They have nothing to lose, everything to prove. That's scary. College football is the worst for that. How many times have we seen teams that should have went to a national championship choke like that? Like, remember 2007, how crazy 2007 was? And the national championship, me and Cam talk about this all the time. 2007, you were going to probably see West Virginia and freaking Missouri. And they both found a way to freaking choke it away at the end because of a team they shouldn't have. It's the same thing with Michigan with App State. Stuff like that. Teams that just no expectations, but you can lose. So LSU's definitely going to be that team.
And 03 will always blow my mind when Kansas State beats Oklahoma and somehow Oklahoma still gets in. That right there.
The same shit when Alabama freaking lost to us and we still freaking faced them in the national championship game and lost.
I was okay with us having to face them again.
Who would have been? I don't know who would have been the other team because I feel like if we would have played them,
there's nobody else that could have been.
No, that's stupid. We would have freaking won otherwise.
I mean, I look at it like this: you go to overtime, you win 9-6. Okay, that alone says that your two teams are on a level playing field. So, I mean, I was
I wish we would have got a shit team then, man. Les Miles could have got two.
The LSU would have not have lost to any other team in the country.
If LSU lost that game in the end because of Les Miles, let's just be completely honest. That's on Les Miles.
I was on Justin Jefferson.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. Jared Lee should have been
playing. Agreed. But, I mean, looking at it right now, too, it's like if there is a person leading this team that actually knows, like, what it means to head in to play in Alabama is Frank
That's
Wilson.
Frank Wilson. And I love the fact that you have him and Corey Raymond back, because those are the guys when you were at your top, like your peak of players, those guys were both in the building. And if I'm a guy coming in, because there's obviously a lot of variables, and we'll get into coaches shortly, but like if I'm a guy coming in, those are the kind of guys I need on the staff. Guys that know the culture, set the tone, guys who can even make my job easier. Whoever's a big name looking at LSU, if I'm one of those guys, that's something I'm looking at, because I see all these players that got pushed out. I see all the consistent and all that. Dude, you got Raymond and Wilson in the building? Yes. That's definitely that's a W.
Yep, I agree. And, you know, I really think that this is the one year where this game,
I think
it only makes sense for us to win this game. And do you not remember what I said on the last show? I said we are going to either be A&M or Alabama. It's going to be one of the two, not both.
To spoil, though, like, that would be poetic, because that's how it goes. Like, that's how this rivalry goes. Like, I'm not saying we will win, but, like, a rejuvenated LSU team that knows they're not going to the playoffs, but finally hit the monkey off the back, a la Brian Kelly, they're going to want to freaking spoil Bama's season. Now, they might not completely spoil it, because Bama's only got one loss. But taking a loss like that now, that's never a good – they're still in the hunt, obviously, but, like, taking a loss now in November to an LSU team that's not ranked, 3 losses?
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
And see, my thing is this too, though. LSU's losses have all come against top 10 teams.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I've seen they were talking about, I don't know if it was based on the like people got fired. It's like James Franklin took losses to Oregon and then UCLA and Northwestern, and there's this guy, I forget his name, some white dude with a beard. He makes like SEC memes and stuff like that. It's not Matt Mitchell, it's somebody else, but he was like, "Oh well, Brian Kelly, who'd you lose to?" And he's like, "Well, number 3, number 9, and number this." And I'm like, "Well, what?"
Oh, that was Biggie Cook the Book. That's my guy right there. I like him. He's funny. But no, all right. So think of it like this. Right now, LSU realistically is probably ranked like between 28 and 35 range right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You beat Alabama, who is top 5.
They're going to be ranked again.
You're going to be between 14 to 22 range.
Yeah, I'd probably say high, like low 20s, like 23, 24 maybe.
But you're going to get some respect because you went on the road and beat Alabama. That's going to look big.
You beat them in Tuscaloosa without a head coach.
Exactly. So that's going to look big. Okay, so then you have Arkansas. You beat Arkansas, you move up a spot or two if that. You beat Western Kentucky, you stay about put. But if you go in and you beat Oklahoma as well to close out the season in Norman, if Oklahoma wins out to that game, LSU has a shot still.
Yeah, I will say if things play out the way you're saying, they might just hire him, because you remember when Orgeron had got promoted and they were like, "Oh, we don't really know what's going to happen," and he coached them out and they were pretty damn good. And then it was like they were tossing around the idea of Tom Herman and stuff like that. Tom Herman leaves, and LSU's like, "Man, well, dude, he just freaking led them on this streak. They freaking want to play for him. Like, give him the freaking reins. Like, let him do his thing." I don't think I want to see that happen. But if things play out like you're saying, it's going to be kind of hard not to want to at least have that conversation,
The crazy thing, too, is when you look at the list of names that were like options for LSU in the last coaching search, I don't think any of them would have panned out.
Who was on that list? It was
Lincoln Riley, Tom Herman.
Wait, Lincoln Riley. Yeah, you talking about when they hired Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Herman was in the one before that, because that's Miles that got fired.
Was he in that one?
Yes, because that's when Orgeron got hired, because they wanted Herman. And Herman picked Texas.
Yeah. That's right. Right.
Yeah. Last time it was Lincoln Riley, I think Jimbo. No, yeah, they were talking about trying to get Jimbo away from A&M, but he was getting paid that big contract, and a bunch of other names. I'm just like, like you said, I don't think any of that would have worked out either. Lincoln Riley ran straight to the Pac-12.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we didn't get Lincoln Riley. And it's nothing against him.
No,
Man can't cook a brisket. Yeah, I mean, he ain't that guy.
I like that analogy.
I mean, it's just true. That being said, though, We
man.
before we close this show out tonight, which by the way, we got some good views in here tonight. That
64
actually,
people watching.
yeah. Which by the way, you're supposed to multiply that by 2 or 3 because you just never know how many are actually watching because YouTube does not record live views on here, and it's stupid. But that being said, though, we have a list. Each of us made a list. I know Brandon's list because I made the graphic, but he doesn't know my list of 5 names that we would like for the job. And it's not who we think is on the hot list or anything like that. It's just who we would like to be considered for the job. And we both agreed that we like Frank Wilson, but we just probably not for the head coach, but never want him to leave LSU. He's LSU through and through. But that being said, let's get we'll get Brandon's list up first. Okay. So Brandon, the floor is yours, my friend.
So it's in non-specific order. So even before Kelly got fired, like my number one guy was Dan Lanning. Now, obviously, you'd have to move a mountain to make this happen, but I don't think it's solely off of money because obviously Oregon's got Nike money. Phil Knight's going to throw as much money to keep him there. It's a cush job. It's a really good job. And he's got them in a really good place. Won the conference in year 1 and then looking to be in contention to win the conference again this year.
Yep.
LSU's going to give you good money, but I feel like, and you said the analogy before, like if you really want to truly compete year in and year out to be national champions, LSU's the right spot. I think he'd be a great fit. I think he'd fit in right away. He's great in recruiting. I think he'd bring in good coordinators to come in and help him. I think it's the best fit possible. So if there's any way that it's plausible to make it work money-wise or whatever, I think that's your guy. Now, obviously, the biggest name the media is pushing because he's been here before is Coach Saban, okay? Do I think this is going to happen? No. I'll be honest with you. I think Nick Saban is really content not having to deal with the stresses of the transfer portal and NIL and all these things because that's one of the reasons he left Bama in the first place. I think he was tapped out. He was burnt out, and I just don't think he wanted to deal with the way the landscape was now. Now, if LSU comes knocking, he'll entertain a conversation. I don't think he'll entertain a conversation with anybody else. I think he'll definitely would think about it. They would definitely have to pay him more than what he was making at Alabama. You're looking in the range of $13 to $15 million a year. But if you can get a good 3-4 years out of him, hey, all power to you. I'd take that too. No, I think it's going to happen though.
But I mean, think of this too, though. I mean, the fact that he calls leaving LSU
his biggest regret. So, I mean, why
Do
not
you want to write that regret?
Sunset? Yeah, and I agree. I think that'd be a major selling point because obviously Alabama's where he built his legacy, but I feel like a part of him never left when he left. I think and they love him here, man. Like you hated him because he was at Bama, but every time he comes back, man, everybody's just really receptive to him. They miss him. They want him back. So could it happen? Yes. So I think it will. No, but it makes a lot of sense to where it could.
Yep.
Now, Lane Kiffin is obviously the biggest name of guys who is more likely than not going to be available. Like for the Florida job, for the LSU job, Penn State's been thrown around. I don't think that's happening. We talked about before the show, Lane Kiffin is a younger guy. He can relate to the players. He's really good. He's like he kind of fits the archetype of what you want your coach to be in this landscape, being able to relate to players and be able to recruit and things like that. I think he'd be a really good fit. I think that we'll see how this year ends for Ole Miss if he does end up wanting to leave. I don't think he's going to win it all. I just think Ole Miss I think you can only take them so far. Like, I think for them to win, you really need like that generational type coach. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to come here. I think it makes a lot more sense for him to come here than Florida because I think Florida is a dumpster fire with a lot more headaches. I think Florida would give him more leeway. I think Florida would give him a lot more power than maybe they would have given like Brian Kelly. They've got the money. They've got the assets. They've got the players. I don't personally mind this one. I wouldn't be mad about this. The next one is a name that's floated around. I don't necessarily think he's going to go anywhere, but Marcus Freeman's a really interesting name, man. One of the better young and up-and-coming coaches. Was very close to winning a national championship next year. Came up short. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to come here too. He's young. He's got a lot to prove. You obviously got Notre Dame there last year, but how many years are you going to get Notre Dame there? Like, if you go 5-10-year spectrum, like, what are the chances you're going to get them back there and win? Don't think your chances are as high as, like, what people want to say. I think it's a guy who has a lot to prove. I know he doesn't really have SEC ties, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it'd be really cool. Don't think it's going to happen.
Make him say no.
Exactly. Worst he can tell you is no.
Mm-hmm.
And my last guy, I'm not going to say he's your last case resort, but if you strike out a couple of these big fishes, I think Eli Drinkwitz is a really good coach. What he's been able to do with Missouri, they can play with anybody.
They can.
They can play with anybody. And the fact that they lost Blake Baker and he was able to keep things stable and Missouri was still competitive and good on defense, they've come close to beating Georgia a handful of times. They've come close to running the table and being in the SEC championship a number of times. With what you have at Missouri and with what he's been able to do, I think he's done the best possible that he can do. I think he's a young, hungry coach, and I think he'd be a really good fit at LSU, to be honest with you.
I agree. I mean, I think Drinkwitz is a nerd. I've always thought that, but he's a damn good coach.
Mm-hmm.
I can't knock the guy at all. I mean, he is one of the most underrated coaches in the country. If you can make Missouri look like gold, dude, options are endless there.
He's killed it across all fronts in the portal. They're really good in recruiting. And they play up to the competition every single week.
Yep, absolutely. So I like this list. I think it's fantastic. I have no knocks at it. I mean, obviously, we know how I felt about Lane Kiffin being the coach, but, I mean, and again, of these guys on the list, Nick Saban's the only one that's got the actual personality that we know fits in Baton Rouge because he's proven it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think Lanning has the personality that can be accepted. I think Kiffin's one of those ones that he kind of he blends in everywhere he goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. Marcus Freeman's kind of the head scratcher for me.
You don't know a whole lot.
I don't know enough about him. I mean, I know he's a good man. I know he's a good leader. He's obviously doing a great job so far in his career. I have no knock on the guy, but I don't know how he would do. I don't know. Like, I can't say it'd be good or bad because I don't know.
Indifferent, because I mean and I don't really think it's going to necessarily happen because I feel like he's one of those Big Ten blue blood guys. Like, he played at Ohio State.
100%.
He's like that Midwest kind of guy. Do I think it could work? Yes, but I do agree with you that we just don't know a whole lot to think if he'd really be interested in coming.
Exactly. Which rumors have it that he's already said no to Florida and Penn State.
I've heard. I heard he shut that down automatically.
I have no verification if that's even legit, if there was actually interest from either school towards him or not, which I'm sure.
I definitely think for sure.
But if it's true, I'm not surprised. I mean, let's be real. I wouldn't leave Notre Dame for Florida. I'd leave Notre Dame for Penn State, but not for Florida. Just to be honest.
I mean, hey, you leave Notre Dame for LSU. It's happened.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think he'd do better.
Yeah, and then Drinkwitz, he's one of those guys that he's got a lot of fire and passion in him. He's a little weird, but he's very passionate.
Good. What he's brought Missouri, because Missouri's been good in the past, but he's brought them back to relevancy like they were when they first came into the SEC and they went to back-to-back SEC titles and they lost. But I mean, he's got them playing with that fire and confidence. They're good.
Yep. Absolutely. A person, though, that I think has a perfect personality for LSU, but the problem is they're just not a great head coach, is Shane Beamer. His personality is perfect, but he'd be a terrible coach for LSU.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
It's a shame because he was looking good going into this year. Then we saw the true colors, unfortunately. All right, now I'm going to pull up my list of 5. So very similar, but also very different. I would like to say that the one guy that I want more than anything that is not an option is Kirk Cignetti. That's who I want.
You will.
But I didn't even put him on the list because it's not going to happen. And let me just say, I put that on my list on X, and I didn't know Indiana fans were even on X. And I was getting lit up like crazy. So I had to explain to him, I'm like, this is a compliment towards the man. This isn't who I think is going to go. No. It's more of hey, he has paid his dues. He's earned it. He's going to get some calls from people. Indiana was just very smart to realize, hey, there's going to be some coach openings happening. We don't want to lose him. So here's a crap load of money. We got you. And he's good. So, all right. So Dominic says, surprise, neither of you said Kenny Dillingham. So
I like Dillingham a lot.
Me too.
I just
he almost
don't
made
think
my list.
I just don't think he's there. Like, I just don't think he's the guy for LSU. I think he's not a good coach. I think he could go damn near anywhere else. I just don't see the fit here specifically.
Exactly. Now, that being said, though, I mean, if he can produce another Cam Scatabo, come on. I'll take it. Because Scatabo to me is like Jacob Hester 2.0, and I love it. Love every bit of it.
Jacob Hester wasn't that nuts, but
yeah. But Dan Lanning's the first one on my list, and let me say our lists weren't top 5 like in order or nothing like that. There's just 5 names that we have on our list, but Dan Lanning's on there because again, I believe in the guy. I think that he's obviously he did very well with Georgia when he was there, and then when he got his chance to be a head coach, I feel like he's shined so far. I feel like he's still building something. That being said, though, if he comes, I hope he brings some people with him.
He's part of that Saban coaching tree, bro.
Exactly. So then obviously Nick Saban's making the list. Not because I'm like, oh my God, I really just want Saban to come back. Look, I think it was the right time for him to retire when he did. I think Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time. Arguably, well, let me rephrase that actually. I don't think Nick Saban is the greatest of all time. I think Bear Bryant is the greatest of all time still. And the reason I say that is because Bear Bryant had a tougher job because he didn't have the benefits of social media and a jet to fly him around to see each recruit and all that stuff. He had to do it the old school hard way. I mean, this man, yeah, I'll just say that Saban's like 1B for me because it was just different eras, so it's hard to compare. But Saban, because Nick Saban, he is the reason LSU got to the prominence that we did in the 2000s. And without him, I don't think LSU would be in the position they are right now. But now getting to my other 3 names, the ones that I like to talk about. Clark Lee. This is the first name that came to my head when this all went down.
I like Clark Lee.
I think Clark Lee is the best coach in college football. And I know that sounds crazy. And it's not an X's and O's thing. I'm talking about as a leader for his team that really instills a really good work ethic in his players, has a level of respect from his players. When I saw a clip of him in a recent face and explained it to him very calmly, like what the issue was, not just a yell and move on. It's a, hey, here is what I saw. This is how I saw it. Here's how I think we should resolve it. Let's get our heads together. Let's do this, and let's go kick some ass. And that's the kind of coach that I want to see at LSU. I mean, the only problem for Clark Lee right now is obviously his overall head coaching record is not great because, I mean, you go to Vanderbilt, it's hard. But the fact that he's gotten Vanderbilt to where it is, and look, I know Diego Pavia. I get it.
But it's not just him, though.
Exactly. Here's the thing, though. Diego Pavia is going to get you some wins. A very good foundation around Diego Pavia is going to get you a lot of wins. And that's
why they're ranked.
Clark Lee is a guy that he is turning crap into a diamond right now. Let's just be real. And at this point, if you're seeing him do this with Vanderbilt and literally got it to where Vanderbilt had no fans in the stadium to now it's nothing but packed. What would he do if he was given the keys to a Ferrari? Because, I mean, I look at it like this. When you compare coaches, right now, at Vanderbilt, he's essentially driving a Lexus, okay? Like he's in a good, comfortable car. He's looking good. He's feeling good. You know, this $3.5 million a year. He might be making a little more now. But you come to LSU, get the Ferrari, you know, you make your $10+ million. You get different things that you're not going to get in Nashville. You get better facilities. You got a better backing. You've got better recruits that you can have access to at this point. You can have anything you want at this job. I think Clark Lee is ready for that. So that is why I have Clark Lee there. I know I expanded on him a lot, but that's my guy.
Don't tell Chris that. Chris thinks that Clark Lee.
I bet
He's
his
never
ear
gonna
popped.
leave. He's an alum. He'll never leave. You got better luck winning the lottery. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, I told you earlier, I'm like, dude, if that happens, you're never gonna live it down, bro.
Exactly. So, and then my next name on the list, and Brandon and I, we had a conversation about this before the show about Kelvin Shepherd, former linebacker LSU, former national champion, director of player development in 2020 for LSU, which the worst time ever to take a job in college football was that year.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, and honestly, that was just a bad year in general. It wasn't his fault for anything that happened there. Moves on to the NFL, works his way up to a defensive coordinator role with the Lions, thriving in that role. I mean, he's absolutely killing it. He is pegged as the next big head coaching hire in the NFL. And a lot of people are saying like it's not if, it's more like when does it happen. But the same thing with Joe Brady, who used to be at LSU, which people are probably shocked I didn't have Joe Brady on this list. I just don't think he's ready to come back to college, if ever. He didn't like it. It wasn't for him. He had fun. Obviously, he won a national championship in his first year at a major university. But it just was not for him. But with Kelvin Shepherd, though, he understands what LSU is, what LSU is about, who LSU needs to be, how to regain that identity. And I think he's a guy that would, when he would come in, I think he'd bring guys with him that also embrace that. Which this is where I'm conspiracy theory here. If you watch It's Always Sunny, think Pepe Silva. Okay, Kelvin Shepherd comes in. You start to pull some other guys that know the program. Frank Wilson stays. Corey Raymond stays. Okay, it gets better. Honey Badger comes in, part of the staff. What he does, I don't know. Leonard Fournette comes in, part of the staff. What he does, I don't know. But you just start bringing all these players in that are elite at what they do on the football field and know it better than anyone. And you get these guys in, you build a super coaching staff that is LSU. That, let's be real, it would be almost impossible.
The major selling point.
All right, so think of it like this. How could it fail if you're instilling everything that the university is into your players? Now, the results on the field may not always work out, but the one thing that will happen is they're going to play their tails off because they're going to want to run through a wall for that staff. You mean to tell me if you're a recruit in Louisiana and you get a call from Leonard Fournette or Tyrann Mathieu to recruit you to come play football, there isn't a second conversation. It's I commit right now. I'm in. There's no questioning it. I mean, think about if you had like my God, get Jacob Hester to come back on the staff. Matt Flynn. Let Matt Flynn be your quarterback coach. I mean, there's so many things you could do with that. Now, do I think Shepherd's going to come? Maybe not. But I will say this. There was this tweet today that said Kelvin Shepherd at the helm with Frank Wilson as his associate head coach. I can certainly get behind that. He liked it. And look, I mean, obviously, when you see your name mentioned on X, if someone talks about you in a positive light, you're going to like it. I get that. So I'm not going to read too deep into that. But maybe there is something there. Maybe. But I feel like if he comes in, it's going to be a super staff build. Because think about it. You get him to come coach at LSU, you're going to get him cheaper than you would these other names.
Mm-hmm.
So you have more money to expand on a staff. So maybe. But my number 5 guy, my third grade teacher's son, Brent Key. Shout out to Miss
Brent Key. Love Brent Key.
I mean, everything that he instills at Georgia Tech, but let's be real. He's in the same boat as Clark Lee. He's coaching his alma mater right now. He was a stud offensive lineman at Georgia Tech, loves Georgia Tech. I've always known he loves Georgia Tech. I mean, Brent Key is the reason that I like sports media. He's the reason I got into it, whether he knows it or not. When I was a kid and I met him that first time, I was like, this is what I want to do forever. I want to talk to athletes. I want to talk about athletes. I want to cover because of him. Came to my class, signed my yearbook, and he was just cool as could be. Everything that he represents and what he is doing at Georgia Tech is exactly what I would like to see at LSU. Let's be real. Haynes King, when he was at A&M, he was mid. I mean, he was a good quarterback, but he wasn't great. Potential was there. But what he has done with him now, my God, that kid's a workhorse.
He's a
Haynes
baller.
King is the definition of a kid that literally ran through a wall for his coach.
Haynes King's not the same kind of player as I'm about to say, but he's kind of like Tebow. Same kind of, not necessarily the same style, but like the same vibe.
Yes,
Like,
I feel you on that. I like that. I like that
I
a lot,
love Brent
actually.
Key. And Brent Key's teams are very disciplined.
Yep.
They're well coached, and they don't make a lot of stupid mistakes. Like, they're very like smart.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about Brent Key is that he didn't jump into a head coaching job too quickly. There were a lot of times where he was coaching waiting. They thought he was going to be Alabama's next head coach when Saban retired. Then he moved on to greener pastures. Well, maybe not greener pastures, but greener pastures for his career. And, he got to where he was, and then bam, he gets the job at Georgia Tech. And that was the coolest hire. And a lot of people questioned it. And anyone that ever questioned it, they've been proven wrong at this point. Now Georgia Tech's sitting undefeated. Should have beat Georgia last year. I'll be honest with you. I think they get their revenge this year.
He's almost gotten Georgia like twice already.
Yeah. So these are the 5 I've got. I mean,
I'm not mad at it. I like Brent Key. I do. I feel like Brent Key's like one of those guys, if you can't land like the big names, I think he's definitely a guy that has to be in the conversation for sure. I think he would fit because he's gritty, and that's what LSU has not had is gritty, disciplined, tough, strong. Like they haven't had that, so I can definitely see that.
Absolutely. I mean, so that's 8 guys that we gave you right there, and obviously it seems like Dan Lanning is our guy. That's who we're leaning towards. And as agreement anyway. Obviously I want Clark Lee. I do. I
just to piss Chris off.
Oh, that would be actually the main reason behind it is just to see Chris's reaction.
I bet Chris, I've been hearing from him for like 2 years that he ain't going nowhere. Like because Andrew been telling him like a year ago, he's like, yeah, well, when Sharon Moore gets 4 or 5 from Michigan, that's where he's gonna go. And he's like, it ain't about the money, it's about this. And I'm like, dude, but if you get an opportunity to like LSU, dude, you get the money and you get a program that's so rich in history that is a perennial powerhouse if you know what you're doing. Yeah, I think you're gonna entertain that phone call.
And let's be real, it is about the money. It always is. Okay, so I look at it like this. If you can get a job that's gonna pay you what would take you 3 years to make at your school you're at now, but you can get it in 1 year.
And potential to make more.
Yes, and you have better assets.
Better facilities, better players. You don't have to work as hard to get players.
Exactly. So,
you've built Vanderbilt as high as you're going to take them. They're not going on a national championship ring. Like, let's just be honest with you. After this year, that team is going to see a fall off.
Absolutely.
You are. So why not strike while the iron's hot? Take a shot, bro. Take a shot.
Absolutely. And I think
I wouldn't be mad at. I wouldn't be mad. He wasn't on my list, but I would not be mad at that.
Exactly.
I would not be mad.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be mad about Lane Kiffin. I'd really question it, and I would be one of the ones that was outspoken about it. And I would definitely monitor him. I'd probably be tougher on him than I would any other hire. Because I'm like
Lane gonna do what the hell Lane want to do, bro. Lane gonna do what he. But and I get the concerns, but I like that he's different, man. And I love his story. Like the fact that he went under Saban and feel like Saban like reignited something under him. Goes to FAU, wins a couple conference titles. He's been at Ole Miss for 4 years. He's been at Ole Miss as long as Brian Kelly was here, and Ole Miss has been always relevant. Now they've kind of fallen off short here and there, but the players he's been able to get, like getting a guy like Jackson Dart, you flipping a guy from Walter Nolan from Texas A&M, like you're getting all these big freaking names. You're always consistently in the conversation. I think it makes sense. Like if I'm Lane Kiffin, I don't know what he wants, but like I'd stay far away from Florida. I think that'd be dumb. Yeah. Like I'd stay at Ole Miss before I go to Florida, but I would definitely entertain LSU just to see like what kind of power they're going to give you. Like, what's the money looking like? What kind of power, like leeway do you have? Like, I don't think it's a bad fit.
But see, here's the thing that you said though. They're always in the conversation. They had Jackson Dart. They had Walter Nolan. but they were
Yeah,
never the conversation, and he didn't do anything with
but
them.
it's Ole Miss though. Ole Miss is never
Exactly.
a contender, but he's got them to be at least in the conversation for contender. Imagine when he goes to a program that's actually a contender.
It's true. It's true.
And I get the concern because that's something I had to kind of wrestle with for a couple of days because I've been watching and researching and just it's a concern. But I think it's
Actually,
more of a sure thing than some of these other guys.
well, before we close it, I want to look at something real quick because that actually,
Dominic said Fran Brown. I love Fran Brown, but that's not
I do,
happening.
yeah, I like Fran Brown a lot. Let me look at something real quick. So, the coaches. All right. So, let's go to coach record. All right. So, Lane Kiffin followed up Pete Carroll, the equivalent of Kalen DeBoer following up Nick Saban, essentially in that era. Okay. So Pete Carroll started his first season was 6-6. You give him a break. Okay. 5-3 in conference play, though. Not bad. Next year, 11-2, 12-1, 13-0, 12-1, 11-2, 11-2, 12-1, and then goes 9-4 in 2009. Okay. Then Lane Kiffin comes in and he goes 8-5 his first year at USC. Okay. Again, you give some forgiveness, but then again, it's like, is that good considering the fact that he was getting Pete Carroll's guys? Then the next year, 10-2, improvement. Then he goes 7-6, 3-2, fired on the tarmac. Okay. Then he goes FAU when he gets back into head coach. So 28-15 overall at USC. Okay. FAU, he goes 11-3, 5-7, 10-3. And again, that's not bad. It's not bad at all considering
That's
who they
very
were.
good.
But also, it's FAU. Your schedule's not that hard.
But that's good though.
But then he goes to Ole Miss. First year, 2020, 5-5. Again, you get a break on that because COVID, I get it. And first year. All right. Next year after that, 10-3, loses in the Sugar Bowl. Again, that's fine. The year after that, 8-5, loses Texas Bowl. Then he goes 11-2, wins the Peach Bowl. Last year, 10-3, wins the Gator Bowl, and right now he's 7-1. That doesn't scream to that. Just I don't know. I'm not impressed. I don't.
feel like you can't. I feel like you can't hold the USC thing against them. I feel like
No,
that's
that's
been
fair.
long enough. It's been long enough ago. I feel like he's learned a
Oh,
lot.
sure.
I feel like he's a lot different now, especially
Yeah.
with the way the landscape is now. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think the craziest thing is like, Tennessee is 1 year there, goes 7-6. Like, I think that was a mistake to leave Tennessee.
yeah, I mean, you live and you learn.
But then I also get it though. I do. But I don't know. It's going to take a lot for me to believe in Lane.
There's a name I keep seeing, and I like him, John Summerall. But dude, no, it's not. It's too soon. He's not. It's the same thing.
Yes.
Like it's. I'm not gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it. It's the Billy Napier situation. Goes somewhere, does good. That's too big of a jump. Billy
Mhm.
Napier did really good at UL. He could have taken an FCC job. Florida was too big. Tulane to LSU is too big. Now, don't get me wrong. Tulane can play with a lot of good teams. They beat USC in the freaking bowl game. They can compete with a lot of big Power 4, Power 5 teams.
Summerall didn't beat USC though.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Yeah. But he's good. But I'd rather, if you're going to roll the dice, I'd rather just roll the dice on the guy from USF if you're going to do all that. You know what I mean?
See, Alex Golish is a name that has not been mentioned at all, and he should be.
But I wouldn't roll the dice on him, though. I like him.
I would give Golish a shot over most people.
I give him a.
But then again, though, if you're going to consider Summerall, you have to consider Kelvin Shepherd at that point.
Yeah, I think the first thing, I think you go for a big name. I think you throw the money. I think you give him the opportunity, like Lanning. I'd be like, look, I could pay you all this money, You got better facilities. You got better recruiting down here. You get to play in the best conference. You've been here before, and you got a chance to win a national championship. Come on down.
Yeah. I mean, he has a chance to rival Kirby Smart.
Dude, that'd be fucking cool. Like, come on, man. They were both like assistants on the Saban and shit. And then Lane's an assistant. I'm like, man, don't tell me you wouldn't want to beat up on these freaking guys every year. Like, come on.
Exactly.
You know you want to. You know you want to. Like, you didn't want the Bama job. I see why you didn't want the Bama job. Nobody wants to take the Bama job after Saban leaves. But, dude, this is a great situation. There's obviously high expectations, but they're not unrealistic.
Yeah.
All you got to do is make the playoffs, and then you just go from there.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing I will say, though, is we are definitely going to keep our ears to the ground on this. A lot of people are already following where planes are flying to and from.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
And that's fun. They already reported one from Baton Rouge to Eugene, Oregon. Eugene, Oregon to Baton Rouge, and they got one from Baton Rouge to Oxford. And I'm like, look, the Eugene one actually is kind of appealing to me, but the Oxford one, that's common. I feel like that's not far, so that is what it is. But we're going to monitor it. We're going to, anything we hear, we will share it with everybody that's watching, which, by the way, we hit 100 a few minutes ago. Much appreciated on here. Actually, that might be our best live count to date.
Besides the first episode, yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I ain't complaining with that. That's awesome. Much appreciated y'all watching tonight. Next week, we will have a special guest. Brandon, if you want to introduce that one.
Who?
Cam for the Bama game?
I didn't ask him, but yeah, he should be. He should be cool with that. But my co-host on the Football Firm of Mine's a big Alabama guy, and he should be on here next week. That would be really interesting. It's cool to see the other team's perspective, and he'll give a little pushback. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to hear, what if we get the upset? No. Y'all not getting the upset.
Yeah, so we're going to have some fun. I look forward to that. It's going to be interesting having an Alabama fan join the show, by the way. As biased
South
as
Carolina before, so
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But unfortunately, in that one, though, I mean,
Andrew's not very biased. He's very unbiased.
You got it. I mean, it's just going to happen.
But Cam with Alabama, he's very biased. So it'll definitely be a very much of a tug of war, if you say.
I respect it, though. So that being said, we thank you for watching tonight. We'll be back next week, same time as always. Feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube. We really appreciate that. Look us up, Bayou Bengal Backers, Triple B Podcast. However you search it, you'll find us. So much appreciated. Thank you for watching tonight. Hope you have a good night. And as always, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.